Welcome back to the channel. The Iron Legend, the rise of Sarah. In a quiet corner of a bustling city lived a girl named Sarah. She was thin, frail, and soft-spoken. People would often mock her, saying, "Sarah, you should eat more. A strong wind might blow you away." Sarah would just smile, but deep inside, a storm was brewing. She didn't want elegance, she craved power. One day, Sarah pushed open the heavy doors of an old, gritty gym. The clanking of iron and the scent of sweat felt like home. On the wall, she saw a poster of an FBB Legend with bicep peaks like mountaintops. Right then, she made a vow, "I will become that." The first year was brutal. When she lifted heavy dumbbells, the men laughed. "Girls don't belong here," they sneered. But Sarah blocked out the noise. She turned her right arm into a weapon. Thousands of bicep curls, a strict diet, and relentless training under the scorching sun became her life. 3 years passed. The same people who once mocked her were now gathered outside the gym. Sarah stood on stage. As she shed her black jacket, the entire hall fell into a deathly silence. When she flexed her right arm, her bicep peak erupted like an explosion. Veins mapped across her muscle like lightning bolts. Seeing the sheer size of her arm, even veteran bodybuilders were stunned. She wasn't just Sarah anymore. She had become an FBB legend. She proved that with an iron will, flesh and bone can be forged into steel. The Arm Wrestling Challenge. Sarah's journey didn't stop at the stage. Her right arm strength became the talk of the town. People whispered that her arm didn't just hold muscle, it held lightning. One evening, at the city's biggest sports club, an open arm wrestling challenge was held. Massive men and seasoned wrestlers lined up. When Sarah stepped forward to sign her name, the room erupted in laughter. A hulking wrestler taunted her, "Kid, go home. This isn't a job for delicate hands." Sarah said nothing. She sat calmly at the table and rolled up her sleeve. As she placed her right arm on the pad and gripped the handle, her bicep peaked like a jagged rock. The thickness of her arm and the intensity of her veins silenced the room instantly. The laughter died. "Ready? Go!" The wrestler threw his entire weight into the pull. His face turned bright red, his veins bulging with effort. The table groaned and shook, but Sarah's arm didn't budge an inch. She stood as still as an iron pillar. Sarah looked him dead in the eye, took a deep breath, and gave her bicep a massive flex. Crack! The table buckled, and in a split second, the giant's hand was pinned flat. The hall was frozen in shock. A girl had just demolished the city's strongest man in seconds. Sarah stood up, flexed her legendary right arm one last time for the crowd, and proved that FBB legends don't just pose for show. They carry the kind of raw power that can shatter stone.